their time, their energy, and their finances into making this organization work. And we've got we're blessed to have two presenting sponsors today. We're going to see a video from each of them. The first one is Merrill Lynch with Lauren Schwartz, and then Texas State Technical College. Let's look at those videos.
It all comes down to a single defining moment. When a plan stops being a plan and gets set into motion. Today's Merrill can help you get there with the people, tools, and personalized advice to help turn your ambitions into action. What would you like the power to do? It all comes down.
We didn't expect to be where we are today, but Texans are tough, and it's time to move and recover. At TSTC, we will help rebuild Texas, one skilled technician at a time. TSTC has the assistance to help you today to get where you need to be tomorrow, so that together we are stronger than ever.
Great. Thanks to those presenting sponsors. I also want to highlight our gold, silver, and bronze sponsors. And the gold sponsor slot, we've got Baylor University, Texas Materials, and Walker Partners. And for silver sponsors, we have Allen Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, American Bank, Ascension, Providence, Baylor, Scott and White, Hillcrest, Extraco Banks, John Irwin, General Contractors, Johnson, Hobbs and Squires. We have Kelly Realtors and McLennan Community College. For our bronze sponsors, we've got Atmos Energy, Independent Bank, and Capstone Mechanical. And of course, we wouldn't be able to do this and certainly not do it with the quality that we have without our media partner, KWTX News 10. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, now that we've done that, I'd like to let's get into the meat of the thing. We want to hear from our speakers. Let me first say we have a little different lineup than we've had the last few years. As many of you know, we had an election, and I do want to thank Mayor Kyle Deaver, who has served this community so well through his term as a council person before then, and then as mayor. I'm sure Kyle's probably watching, so Kyle, pat yourself on the back for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. And I'm sure there's plenty of things you need to catch up on. So enjoy your time away. Okay, the first speaker that I want to introduce is Judge Scott Felton. And for those of you who know Scott, he really embodies everything you want in a Texas county judge. So Scott has been our judge since 2012, and really his service to our community started long before then, not only as a business person in the community, but also serving with many great organizations like the United Way, the HOT, Fair and Rodeo, the Waco Business League, even served on the chamber for many years. Scott was raised in McLennan County on his family's ranch near Elk. I'm sure all of you can find Elk on the McLennan map. And before he retired from private life or from the business world, he worked. His last job was president of Wells Fargo here in Waco. And anyway, as adding to his legend today, it's kind of fun. We get to do these things via Zoom because we get an insight into everyone's personal life. So adding to his legend, he is broadcasting to us from an undisclosed location somewhere near a deer blind. So Judge Felton, welcome. Thanks for being with us today. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm coming from my West Texas Zoom studio. I'm out in the Alpine, Texas area. And it reminds me on getting Christmas gifts that I'm going to buy for the chamber and for Jessica, the Texas Parks and Wildlife schedule of when the seasons are. So they would know exactly where I might be when scheduling these Zoom events like this. But fortunately with Zoom, and it works very well, you can do these from, anywhere. And we've used them quite a bit, and we find that there's a lot of things that we've learned through using Zoom that we'll probably never quit using. It's so easy to get together. I'm very proud to present the state of McLennan County for 2020 and what all has happened this past year and kind of what we're looking for the future. We are very fortunate to have a commissioners court made up of 5 members. You can see them there. They're the usual suspects. It's been in that position for a while. They are Commissioner Kelly Snell, Precinct 1. Precinct 2 is represented by Patricia Miller. Precinct 3 is Commissioner Will Jones. And Commissioner for Precinct 4 is Ben Perry. As you know, we've got, as I mentioned, Zoom is a big part of what we're doing, and all of our Commissioner Court meetings now are held through Zoom. Generally, myself and Commissioner Perry are in the courtroom, but not always. I actually was able to do a Commissioner's Court meeting from out here in West Texas here sometime back. And it's kind of funny to watch these long meetings on Zoom and how people relax and kind of forget their own being videoed, and you have to be careful you're not touching your nose or other places and to go through these presentations. But and the other thing is sign language through all of it as well. There's something new. This past year, Commissioner Snell has decided not to run for re-election, and so next week we'll have our last Commissioners Court meeting that he will be present in. He's done a good job taking care of the people in Precinct 1 and has vast knowledge about road and bridges and equipment and all the things that go with that. He's looking forward for retirement. I think he's been practicing a little. On the next slide shows him fishing. It would probably be better that he fished after he was the commissioner rather than during the time that we're paying him, but he's chosen to do this. I did point out to him that what he's holding up there is the size of the bait that I use when I go fishing. But we wish him the best. He's done a good job, and he'll be successful in whatever he does in the future. He's going to be replaced by Jim Smith, who won that position. Many people in the county know Jim. He's been a long-time superintendent in several McLennan County schools, and a very popular guy. I think being a superintendent of schools prepares you very well to serve in the capacity that he'll be serving in, because of the fact that the budgeting process is something they have to be, very good at, and also dealing with all types of people that some easy to deal with and some not so easy. I think he'll have an opportunity to use those skills once he's a county commissioner here. But we look forward to having Jim on our commissioner's court, and I know he'll be a great addition to it as well. We've been looking at a lot of things this year about what we need to do, due to the fact, and we'll get into it in a little bit, but as everyone knows, there's been a lot of announcements of companies coming to town, and Texas has been growing, and we're no different. We've got our share of the growth in our community. And then here recently, some pretty significant announcements have been made, and with all that, we think it'll continue to cause the county to grow. And so, there's good things and other things that have to grow as well. And part of that is our judicial system, which we felt like was even a few years ago was kind of at its max. And so we're having discussions about adding a court, and there has to be some kind of legislative path laid to be able to do that. So we've been starting that process. The legislature has to allow us to add courts. There's three types of courts that we have, general types of courts, district courts, which in that case, the governor makes the appointment if there's a vacancy in those places, and the state pays for the judge's salary and the county pays for the support around that. County court at law is totally a county court, and it's an elected position like the district court, but the county pays all the expenses of a additional county court at law. Right now we have two, and the idea is to add one more. We don't know that both of those would be approved, like the district judge, because the budget situation the state's in. There might be a hesitancy for them to pick up another bill for the state to pay, and so we know that might not get approved. County court at law, that would be a local bill, and we feel like that has a high possibility of doing it. There's a lot of detail going around that, but we think the end of it would be that we'd be more efficient, being able to handle the backlog. As you know, we haven't had a jury trial since first of the year of 2020, and it doesn't look like we're going to have one anytime soon. It could be as early as February, but realistically, the way our numbers are with COVID-19, it could be much later than that. Convening a jury, and so in our jury calls, we send out anywhere from 300 to 600 requests for people to serve on juries. There's a lot of ways they can get out of that, I guess you'd say, if they wanted to. And so to be able to seat and panel a jury, people are going to have to feel like they're safe in participating in that process. We think the benefits from adding another jury is that we would be able to process cases faster and ultimately have fewer jail days for inmates out at the jail. Get people either on down to the state penitentiary, or they go through the trial process and they're innocent and they back out, or either bonds are set at lower amounts, and so it would cut back days in jail that we generally have to pay for that. So taxpayers, it's a burden to the taxpayers of McLennan County. So setting up new courts will be a cost, but we're hoping it'd be at least somewhat offset by fewer jail days coming up. And looking at the court system, the old downtown jail is the building right behind the courthouse. So one of the buildings in what's called the annex. And right now we're using the first floor. That we have not had inmates in that jail for some time, since we've expanded out at Highway 6 in the Jack Harwell facility. And they would really not pass inspection due to numerous things on how it was designed. And the jail commission now wouldn't approve it. So it needs to be, the first thing we did is had engineer assessment of the building, and it looks to be very usable, very, it's built like a jail. It's strong, it's stout, and it's going to be there. If you go out and build a judicial system off campus, it's going to be very expensive, 60 million above. I've heard of $90 million and things like that. Well, we can go in there and over time take our time to do it, and if we approve more courts, then we can start by going in, and we just awarded a contract to demolition the inside and do remediation of the old jail, and then we can start as time and the money allows us to add up to four courtrooms there. Another reason why it's good to do it on that campus is we don't have to expand security at the extent we would if it was off campus. The other thing is you have to bring inmates from jail. Everything has to be secure. We have a sally port already there built in. We can take defendants straight to the courtrooms in a very controlled and secure way by doing that. So we've had, as I said, engineers look at it, and then we've had architectural design that we've looked at. It would make very nice courtrooms. They would be very high ceiling, 2 stories within one courtroom. And as you can see, looking at the picture there, that that is a pod, and it's 2 stories within. The inmates are around the outside, and then down in the center is the common area that they can come down into to eat lunch or have come down and do studies or whatever they have to do. So that area that could be easily converted into courtrooms. So that is a big, that's a big thing that we're working on right now. We hope to be able to, if we have debt that pays off, that will pay off in the next few years, we'll be able to sell bonds and not increase that tax rate would be the plan for our debt service, interest and sinking fund. And kind of blend it into our cost or capital improvements over the next many years. The other thing that we're very interested in working on, and we're directly affected, is how we handle mental health in our community. There's a high percentage. It's debatable what it is, but it's at least 30%, if not more, of our inmates that we house have mental health issues to some extent. And the fact that we don't have other places to go with them, it means that we end up holding them in a jail, which we really don't have the programs that we need to the extent of being able to improve people's position in their situation, to be able to help them with their mental health issues while they're in jail. So they come back out, they serve their days, and they reoffend. And so we've been working with MHMR, with great partners, and they have helped us do what we can in the jail, help identify people out on the street that we encounter through law enforcement to determine what their situation is and try to put them in the right place the first time. One of our biggest challenges is we don't have a lot of state hospitals are trying to fix that, but it's going to take a while to do it. And the budget situation they're in now, I don't expect that to happen very fast. One of the plans would be to take care of a lot of these within the county until they can be placed in either they can be helped through mental health things that we can do here, or we can prepare them to go to a state facility. The MHMRs work very hard and fast to be able to come up with a location. They've have a 20,000 square foot facility that can be customized, that they can not only handle a lot of what they do within many buildings within the county, but they could also have a facility that could be utilized as a crisis center to deal with our local people, and not have to go to the emergency rooms, which is very inefficient, very expensive, and very many times dangerous as well. We want to try to pull those pressures off the local hospitals the best we can. We have had our toe in the water on the crisis center by being able to create a medical clearance model that actually helps people, where we can determine what other health issues they have, and they don't have to go to the hospital to get evaluated for that. We can do it on this spot with actual medical doctor and staff to go with that. It helps us move that process along. I can't say how much I thank the Rappaport Foundation for helping us organize and put together the behavioral health leadership team, which is made up of all the folks that are some way have influence or effect or consequences of mental health situation in the county. and they're anywhere from judges to district attorney to our jail people, our hospital people, our mental health people. Foundations are a big part of it. All the foundations are involved in it, and not just local foundations. The local foundations have been very key in making connections with larger foundations, state and national, nationwide type foundations, to be able to secure funding to be able to improve our situation in the county. You know, a lot of this that we're talking about that are costly and those things couldn't happen if we didn't have a great economic situation in our community. The cloud of COVID has been awful thick, but the sunshine is the economic development successes that we've had. We really enjoyed the partnership with the city of Waco and their staff, and as well as the chamber and their economic development staff led by Chris Collins and all her group of people. And they're really working to try to bring more folks, more companies into McLennan County that provide the kind of jobs that we want. You know, we could fill up every location with some type of manufacturing company if we didn't care what they paid and those things. But we are stepping up the game on that to increase the hourly wage. I think we're in a, you know, it's kind of a buyer's market the way I see it, and we can pick and choose what kind of companies we want in our town. And so the city and county working through with Waco Industrial Foundation have WebMec, Waco McLennan County Economic Development Corporation, where we put the funds into and work towards analyzing which one of these companies we want to bring in the community. I think this would be a good time to recognize Waco Industrial Foundation for their foresight, for finding the right properties and really looking at where we're going to be in the future, and great dedicated board in working on that. And they have representation on WebMac through Bill Clifton. And then the city manager and myself are the other two of the three members of the board, Bradley and myself. And then we have a lot of support around us from that. Kind of, and again, thank Chris Collins for providing us with a lot of slides. Some of you have seen these slides, but I think it's good to kind of really beat our chest a little bit about how well things have been going and what we have planned for the future. But you know, this what we've looked at is we've had 10 projects announced in 2020, 1,438 jobs. And on top of that, we've retained 1,122 jobs and $373.5 million in capital investment. Almost 3 million square feet of new and absorbed square feet that goes back into production. 285,000 square feet of existing space that we've utilized, and 2.7 million square feet in new construction. We've you can see on the picture there, that's zinc power that has been announced this past year. It's 160,000 square feet, 100 new jobs, 32 million in capital investment in this project, and it should be completed in 2021. So right around the corner. 2021 has been a positive, outlook for growth. 13 strong prospects in the pipeline, primarily manufacturing and distribution, but also professional services. A lot of professional services come with these programs as well. You're going to need more people in professional services, from CPAs, attorneys, engineering, architectural, all those things. We have around 4,000 potential new jobs in these projects we're looking at now, 4.9 million of new construction, and $1 billion in new investment. Going back, kind of one of the announcements that started things was the Caterpillar announcement up here with Holt whole family decided to expand their location here in Waco, and we were very excited about that, and hopeful other things would follow, and they have. But the whole Texas operation was $33 million investment, 200,000 square feet facility, 100 new jobs, 100 indirect jobs, and an estimated 82 million in net direct and indirect salaries over the next 10 years. Project announcement, one that I worked on to some extent with the other members, is Aspen. It's a company out of Canada. It's a North American company. Because it was a little different, it was an international company, but it's privately owned. We had a conversation with them and went over financials. Extremely strong company that was able to do all this by cash, and so Aspen is a trailer manufacturer. It's highly mechanized, computerized. It's a $11,270,000 investment, 79 new jobs, 70,600 square feet of new construction, and this is our first United States operation. Being down in Texas, they were able to expand their Midwest market down in all the way into Mexico, and so we're very excited to have Aspen here. Another project, and it's important to show this is Rhinet. Rhinet is a small company, very small company that will only have 10 new employees start out, but it's a training center and all for the screen printing business, and with all the supplies and the training and those things. And it's just to show you that small businesses it's important that we look for opportunities to grow those as well, because we want a very diversified economic footprint here, where if one industry is affected by some downturn, another industry may not be. And so we don't have to, it's not like being out in an oil patch and that's all you have. And we have and Rick Tullis pointed this out to me. We have 6 different industries that amount to over 10% of our economy here, and where most counties have only 4, some even less than that. So we're very fortunate there. Project announcement here is Laminate Technology, another smaller company, 50,000 square feet, 40 jobs by 2021, and $4 million in capital investment. And then expansion of some of our local our companies that have been here a little while. Tractor Supply, their business has grown so much, and they have so many trucks coming in and out that there need to be a fix on how they're able to get all their trucks loaded and unloaded and coming in without disrupting all the rest of the traffic in the community. So there's a new trucking entrance. It's a $9 million capital investment, and this retains 400 jobs that they that they have here, that they possibly would have to move to another area if we weren't able to fix that. Project Texas Meter Device. That's a great story. A local company, been here for many, many years. They were in the downtown area. As you know, downtown's had a very vibrant and growth over the last several years with Magnolia and many other things that are coming around that. And there's a good chance that their property where they're located now downtown would have another great use for it if Texas Meter and Device were able to relocate outside of the downtown area. So this became a real opportunity, and it's a $3.5 million capital investment, 50,000 to 70,000 square feet of headquarters and assembly center, and 60 retained jobs at 53,000 a year. Really good paying company, and so it'd be their new corporate headquarters and assembly facility. Another small one's project announcement was Advanced Rail System, a small company that is located over in Cossie, Texas. And they had moved from Falls County over into McLennan County with a little 23,000 square foot facility and $2.5 million investment, 20 jobs and 49 additional jobs to be created. Of course, the big one this year was Amazon, and that's the darndest thing I've ever seen. While we were talking to them, they were getting their construction people together, and there again, I really want to take the opportunity to thank the Industrial Foundation for being very flexible with Amazon to let them start construction. It was kind of hard to make a surprise announcement when they had a couple of stories of iron already hung up out there, and it was the worst kept secret in Texas, but it happened, and they're going to be up and rolling about $2.1 million, 2.1 million square foot facility, $200 million investment, 1,000 permanent full-time jobs. And of course, during season time, during next fall, when they hope to be open, they'll probably add more people into the part-time. They have a real good system to utilize a lot of part-time people during seasonal time, that they'll be able to come in there and people to make a little extra money over and above the jobs that they have. So that's a great announcement, but that good news keeps coming. Invasys is a company out of Mexico, but they're a national company, international company. They're in multiple countries around the world. Very strong company. They make aluminum cans. They actually bring the raw material in, which is in sheet form. They stamp it into cans, and they'll produce a tremendous amount of cans for the beverage industry all around the United States and Mexico and in North. It's a 450,000 square foot new construction equipment, $100 million capital investment, real property of $35 million in real property, and then in personal properties, $65 million, highly technical company. Jobs would be 121 by year end of the second year. It's 113 at $15 an hour, and then some entry levels at 12. But job opportunities in that company will be good to advance in there. Average wage will be about $44,500. We think that is conservative from what we understand. And when they get it full employment, they'll be able to hit that goal. So that's been great. The other thing we've been working on several years, and it's really a community effort here from venue project being put together go to the public for a vote. It's a great partnership between the city of Waco and WISD of McLennan County. And the project is well underway, and you can see that it's the footprint there. What you're seeing there is where the Waco Independent School District will build new athletic facilities there, primarily a soccer, football type stadium, as well as some baseball and softball fields. And that's land they swapped to the county where the old stadium is, that the county will eventually take and convert it to an equine center, which is kind of really the biggest economic driver of that whole project. But and priority wise, to get it done, the Expo Center was the first one to come out of the ground. It's the most costliest project in there. And as you can see, the next slide will show as the footprint was laid out. This is obviously during the Heart of Texas Fair last October, when the building was being laid out, all the plumbing put into the footprint there. So it's coming along good. The next slide shows, you see a little bit more on that. Hold on just a minute. Okay. We'll have to go by. I just lost my slides on my laptop, but that's all right. This is moving along quite well. We're going to be probably ahead of schedule on the property, and then below budget is what our plan is. This is an aerial view of the facility. And you can see it lays out a pretty good footprint within the overall footprint of the Heart of Texas Fair. All right, next slide. Is that the okay, Dustin, I guess, is that okay, the venue project, I apologize, on my laptop, I lost the screen, but I can see it on this other. The venue project has been affected by like many things, the coronavirus situation. If you take the 2019, as we were just ramping up on our revenue coming in from the 2% of the hotel tax and 5% of the auto rental, we were getting in about $190,000 per month, or on an annualized basis was about $2,280,000 and a year, and our debt service about $1.8 million. So you can see we were netting, 500,000 or more, and plus an increase that we were figuring it anywhere from 5 to 10% increase per year, which would generate a lot of revenue out there for the future. Unfortunately, what's happened is in the hotel is they're off about 40% from where they were in 2019. So the annual revenue right now, based on where we are, is about $1,400,000, and so we have a reserve set up for debt service, of course, and so we will be able to make our debt payment, and all the bankers understand that's a good thing. So we've been working with the city and county and showing them the numbers that we have, and asking for buy-in if they think the numbers might be understated or overstated. So, all right. The next project that we're very proud to be a part of and have been from the start is when the initial zoo was built, where in its current location, the county came in and sold bonds to be able to put the capital improvements together, and the city signed on to take on the operating expenses of the operation over and above revenue generated and what is raised locally from all the people that support the zoo. And so we were able to sell $14.5 million worth of bonds in the best interest environment for the for the bar that we've had in history. And we were able to sell those bonds at 1.47%. And we were this really helps us be able to handle all of our debt with the county in a very good situation. We've also, over the last couple of years, refunded some debt as well and got the interest rates down on that. But, I guess some good things that you learn from all these things is it's important for us to be in good financial condition, and, our actually taken from a quote from Andrew Friedman with Samco, our financial advisor, says that the McLennan County government has earned a sterling reputation among investors, financiers, and rating agencies. And so it pays to have a good, strong capital account in your city, a good reserve, try to manage your budgets well, be very transparent about what you're spending money on, and just be very sensible about how we operate. And that's what our Commissioners Court has tried to do over the last several years, for sure. So, all right. As reported in previous years, the road projects are still working. I'll just mention the main ones. Surrey Ridge is out in the Robinson area. We've completed that. That was a great project. It was a little less than $3 million, and we finished that in July, and so it's up and going. The Ritchie Road project is it cost $651,000, and that project will be finished and completed in November of 2020. And the other project, let's see here, is Spiegelville Road, a much larger project. It's $11,400,000. It'll be completed in 2021. That's a very important road. That side to Chapel Road, there's so many more people live in that area now, and it's a very important connection. Chapel Road will also be finished in 21. All right, next slide. Challenges and opportunities. Well, one thing coming up, our government has made no bones about it. The Texas Senate is starting off saying that they're going to be kind of an offensive against cities and counties, and in my opinion, it's taking a lot of local control away from cities and counties and how they work their budgeting process. We're going to do the best we can to try to make a case on the way we're doing it the right way. We're not wasting money. And if the people in our community don't like the way we're managing business, they're going to put somebody else in our spot. That's the reason for the election process. Redistricting is another big subject coming up. It is going to be important. So it'll be, I'm sure, controversial, but we got to do it. And then, we continue to work on education in the community, and I appreciate so much about what everybody's doing in that regard. So I think with that, Dustin, is that the last slide? Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry it took so long. We have a lot going on. Thank you, sir. You're on mute. Rick, you're on mute.
Thank you. Man, too many buttons to hit. Thanks for that update. Judge, one of the exciting things you're talking about, this economic development, one of the stats I heard the other day was with everything going on, it's actually, we're seeing 4 times the typical activity we normally get in a year. Usually $100 million in investment would be a year to celebrate, and we're closing in on $400 million. So great job, city, county, chamber, Waco Industrial Foundation. Great job. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to some venison when you get back. Okay. Next, I want to jump in, introduce our new mayor, Dylan Meek. Many of you know Dylan. He actually has been on the council since 2015, but in our last election in November was elected mayor. And I won't go into the long presentation or the long introduction of Dylan. I want him to get into his presentation. So Dylan, take it away.
Great. I'm so thankful to be here today. Judge Felton, so great to hear from you. I'm so thankful for the collaboration and partnership that we have with the county. And thank you to the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce for hosting us today. I look forward to continuing to explore how we can strengthen our partnership so we can grow our economy in a way that every Wacoan has an opportunity for success. It is such an exciting time to be in Waco, and I believe that while we have challenges, those challenges are outweighed by exciting opportunities and a very bright future. In my presentation today, I'm going to run through several different things. I'm going to go quick for time, so we're just going to hit the high points. Each of these subjects are things that we could talk about for a while, but for the sake of time, I'm going to run quick on this. We're going to start and talk about some personnel changes at the city and in our city council, and then look at some exciting new projects in our economy, and then finish up on some vision for where we're headed. So let's start by looking at personnel. I think it's important for the city, for all of us to know who are some of the players in our city. After a delayed election, 2020 did bring us some changes in our city council, and we said goodbye to Mayor Kyle Deaver, who Such a selfless, good leader. I think we'll all remember him for his gracious leadership, his careful, thoughtful leadership in a very difficult time. He's one of the most thoughtful and selfless people I know, and I'm appreciative of his servant-hearted leadership and steady hand during the pandemic. But I think it's also important to remember the ways that our economy really grew under his great leadership and a lot of the new policies that we implemented while he was at the helm. I'm so thankful for his leadership. Next slide is Dory put this in here. It's a picture of myself. And then if you can go to the next slide, Ashley, this is a picture of my family. This is the slide I could probably camp out on the most. This is Mabry, my daughter, who is 4, and Davis, who is 2. And then this is my wife, Lindsay, who's the love of my life. She's loving and kind and thoughtful. And so I just wanted to introduce y'all to my family as I'm moving into this new role. If you don't know much about me, I grew up in Victoria, Texas, right outside of Victoria, and then stayed in Waco after I graduated from Baylor, where I got both my undergrad and law degrees. I'm currently working at First Title Company for my day job, and I'm appreciative of the time that they give me to be here with you today. Next, we have Josh Borderud, who's an attorney with a robust resume of community engagement. He currently serves as the director of clinical programs at Baylor Law, and he's married to Jennifer Borderud. They have 2 children, RC and Lillian. And next, we have Kelly Palmer, who is representing District 4. She's a licensed social worker and educator and serves as an adjunct faculty member at the Baylor School of Social Work, and has a strong resume herself, serving as the anti-trafficking, having previously served as the anti-trafficking director of community in schools, and she's married to Matthew Palmer. I'm excited for the new, fresh ideas that both of these new council members will bring to our team. They're already doing great work in our discussions. This is the dream team. On behalf of myself and the staff, we're excited about what this team is going to bring to Waco as a city council. I'm a big believer that sharp minds with different strengths and skill sets and different perspectives render the best outcomes. Our city should be thankful for these community volunteers that serve on the council and give countless hours to serve. This is an ambitious council with big goals rooted in pragmatism, consensus building, and collaboration, and I'm ready to rumble with them. I'm so thankful for all of their good ideas and where we're headed. Next, we have Wiley Stem, who served for 44 years at the city of Waco. Wiley started with the city in 1978 on a survey crew and worked in numerous positions throughout the city, giving him extensive knowledge of operations. Wiley loves this city with his heart and soul and served it with honor. We'll miss having him at City Hall, but I'm happy for him and Tonette as they enjoy retirement together. Next, we have part 2 of the dream team is Bradley Ford, Deidre Emerson, Ryan Holt, Paul Kane, and Galen Price, our city manager's office. Bradley Ford was sworn in as city manager on July 2020. Previously having served as the deputy city manager, he's held a lot of leadership positions in some high growth Texas cities and is bringing innovation into our community and doing a great job already. In this picture is his wife, Deanna, and his beautiful family. I'm excited about Bradley and the city manager's office for bringing innovative, forward-thinking strategies to our operations and community goals. He works his tail off and is smart and thoughtful. Next, we have Deidre Emerson. She was promoted from assistant city manager to our deputy city manager. She's been with the city of Waco since 2015 and has a long history in public administration. Again, Deidre carries very strong traits. She's innovative, a critical thinker, and a huge asset to our team. I'm so happy she's with us. Other organizational changes include the promotion of Ryan Holt from our police chief to assistant city manager, and I'm excited for him to be in that role. In March of this year, we welcomed Chief Gregory Summers to our fire department. We're thankful for the 34 years of experience that he brings in the fire service. In August, Frank Ginch was sworn as the interim police chief, and we, of course, appreciate his leadership as the interim. In addition, Galen Price is acting as an interim assistant manager as well. And we have Trey Busby joining us in animal shelter operations and Mike Searight as the chief information officer. We're in process of doing a police chief search. Police Chief Ryan Holt's promotion to assistant city manager has created that void as I mentioned, interim Chief Ginch is serving. A survey was conducted as part of an all-inclusive effort by the City of Waco and SGR, a firm conducting the police chief recruitment to define the profile of Waco's next police chief. In addition to the survey, a community engagement panel has been named to be engaged during the process with the panelists chosen to represent the community. I'm thankful for the good work that our police department has done to keep Wacoans safe, reduce crime, and build community trust. And I know our city manager is committed to finding a police chief that will carry this legacy. And whoever our new police chief is, they will have an ability to obtain the respect of both the officers that he or she will lead and the community members that he or she will serve. COVID-19 continues to change the way we operate in the city. As information changes rapidly, our city staff has worked hard to disseminate accurate and correct information as quickly as possible. The hub of information continues to be covidwaco.com, maintained sometimes hourly by our health and information departments. This dashboard of information on covidwaco.com continues to be the most current information for the community, and we strive to adapt to anything changing. We continue to hold weekly press conferences where you might be able to pick up some information there as well. I want to say right now, thanks to our healthcare providers, hospital systems, nurses, doctors, and first responders, their trusted advice and information has been so invaluable. I also want to thank our city staff members who have taken on such an extra load during this COVID time. I'm appreciative for their service as well. I did want to talk briefly about our working groups. When the effects of COVID became realized, Mayor Deaver assembled working groups to pull together different stakeholders from a variety of sectors of our community. We had a health response team, which was formerly chaired by Councilmember John Kennard and is now being chaired by Council Member Kelly Palmer and co-chaired by Jackson Griggs. We had social services and education, co-chaired by Council Member Andrea Bearfield and Susie Painter March. We had our business recovery working group, which was chaired by Sarah Roberts, who is the president of the Business League, as well as Jim Holmes, who is one of our council member, Jim Holmes, and then a communications working group chaired by Natalie Kalinsky of the Waco Foundation and council member Hector Sabito. And I think that this is a testament to how our community responds to needs. They pulled stakeholders from each of these sectors together to say, how are we going to stay in our lane and collaboratively approach the problems that our community is facing with a proactive strategic response. And so I think that there's been good outcomes that have come from these, including the Small Business Recovery Fund and other good things that have come from these efforts. And I'm thankful for the time that people have served on this. As we currently sit here today, I do want to continue to exercise caution to our community. We're looking at hospitalization rates. And so we had a press conference yesterday, and good, trusted local doctors urged caution by wearing masks, washing our hands, and keeping social and physical distance. These are good, trusted doctors who are giving this advice, and I'm thankful for them giving it and trust it. We're also excited about vaccines. Our Office of Emergency Management has assembled a vaccine preparation coalition who is working to ensure that this community is prepared for that day to come. And as we look at our hospital capacity, I want this community to take heart that our county, our city leadership, and our hospital administrators talk at least 3 times a week regarding this subject to make sure that we are prepared for any obstacles that might come our way. Next, we have I-35. As of this month, the project is 50% completed. I'm sure that there is a round of applause going on out there virtually over the fact that we are on track for this with an end date of 2023. I know that we don't want it to be 2023, but at least we're halfway there. Next, we have the suspension bridge, which has been closed for a multi-million rehabilitation project. It's expected to take 18 to 24 months. Another thing, we don't love being under construction, but both I-35 and the suspension bridge need to be repaired so that they're safe and we can continue to use them. And so bear with us as we're under construction here. We'll move on to the fire station. This is fire station number 6. Man, this is a neat project. If you look at this, you'll probably remember the old 25th Street Theater, which had become dilapidated beyond repair. The city was able to procure this site. It's a strategic location for a firehouse in our community. And I'm so thankful for city staff and our architects for being able to build a fire station out that honors the legacy of the 25th Street Theater. Our fire administration offices will also be located here. And there's also going to be a community meeting room. So I think that this is a great example of being creative on how we do capital improvements at the city level. Next, I'm going to talk briefly about infrastructure and streets. This is the bread and butter of city business. It continues to be a priority for our city. You can learn about a lot of the big projects. I won't get into them, but as you can probably see by driving around Waco, there's a lot of streets that are under construction, a lot of capital improvements that you'll see happening. You can go to betterstreetswaco.com and learn about the streets under construction in your neighborhood and details and timelines about those, or you can visit our city website. We have to continue to ensure that we can fund infrastructure needs. And so we continue to examine impact fees and stormwater fees. And my hope is that securing diversified funding for infrastructure will result in property tax relief. My commitment to our entire community is to strike the right balance of ensuring we have funding for infrastructure while keeping the cost of living and the cost of doing business in Waco as low as possible. And I look forward and I'm committed to continued conversation around these subjects. Next, we have Connect Waco, which is an additional communication tool that we added this year, allowing citizens to receive text alerts on their phone for topics they can opt in on. It also allows for texting questions to the city for a response. So I'd encourage viewers out there to take advantage of this very cool opportunity to engage with the city. Next, I want to run quickly through some neat announcements and awards. The Association of Zoos and Aquariums, AZA, has recognized Cameron Park Zoo's 25 years of continuous accreditation. We are very thankful for the presence of the Cameron Park Zoo in our community. Also, Waco was designated as a music-friendly city this past summer, joining 11 other Texas cities. And finally, this is a really neat one, y'all. Waco has achieved an ISO Class 1 PPC rating from the Insurance Services Office and the Texas State Fire Marshal's Office in February. So basically, this is a rating for fire departments. It's the highest possible score that a fire department can be given. Less than 1% of the more than 47,000 cities in the country receive this honor. What's really cool is that Waco citizens should remind their insurance company that if you live within the city of Waco, that the Waco Fire Department has obtained an ISO 1 rating, and that should result in some cost savings on your home insurance premiums. So thank you to our fire department and our firefighters for their hard work here. Next, we're going to look at some downtown work going on. We've seen a lot going on in downtown. I mentioned some of the capital improvements that are going on around the city, but for downtown specifically, we're still in process of developing a quiet zone, so you won't have to hear that loud train whistle blasting through our downtown. We also are converting Washington Avenue from a one-way corridor to a two-way corridor. And I know many of the merchants that are along in that corridor are excited for that day to come. And we're in preliminary designs for Franklin Avenue to convert to two-way as well. We're still under construction on 5th Street. That project is about 100 days in, and we're expecting a completion date of that in February of 2022. Let's talk about economic development. The judge has mentioned some of the projects. I'm very thankful for our partnership with the county and the chambers of commerce and our business stakeholders. He mentioned several projects coming through: Amazon, Zinc Power, Envasas, Aspen Trailers. These are all projects, as he mentioned, that are bringing significant capital investments to our community, as well as 1,250 new jobs. Again, that's 1,250 new full-time, good-paying jobs offering exciting benefit packages like the one Amazon is offering, which includes full medical, vision, dental insurance, as well as a 401k with a 50% match starting day one. This is great news. And again, I want to thank all those who participated in procuring these businesses, including our host today, the Greater Waco Chamber. You may have noticed that University Parks Drive is closed at the Riverfront project. The contractor there is working 7 days a week to get University Parks reopened by January 2021. But the good news is the Riverfront development is vertical. The completion of phase 1, which includes the parking garage, apartments, retail, and the farmers market, is anticipated in spring of 2022, with many of the buildings completed over the course of 2021. The completion dates, of course, are still tentative, but we're excited for the progress of this long-awaited development. We continue to see exciting new projects on the east side of our downtown in East Waco, with exciting new developments that include new housing complexes. TF&B brought a bank to the east side of the river for the first time in generations, 3 new hotels, and more continued growth supporting a live, work, and play atmosphere to be enjoyed by both longtime and new residents. We're excited to continue to work with the East Waco community to build out strong neighborhoods. It's my hope that downtown and all of our ring neighborhoods will all continue to see an increased healthy revitalization. And it's our commitment to partner with neighborhoods to ensure they can speak into and participate in the growth, because this makes all of Waco better. We're going to talk about neighborhoods some more in a moment. Topgolf is under construction. We're excited for that as well. It's going to be a great asset to have here in the community. Next, we'll move on to kind of where we're going, a look ahead. And personally, as mayor, sitting only as 1/6 of the council, some of my personal goals for our city. I'm excited to look at the incentives that we offer. I think that we've done a great job, obviously, of building up our economy, but I want to continue to explore, to innovate, and redevelop where necessary some of our economic development funding policies to make sure that we are building up that diversified economy that Judge Felton mentioned. We want to make sure that we have tools in our toolbox to recruit tech jobs, professional service jobs, that we're supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs, and really working strategically with a diversified approach, a holistic approach to build up a strong middle class. I'm excited to continue to partner with our business stakeholders like the Chamber, the Greater Waco Chamber, and our other chambers of commerce, Startup Waco, and other business groups to ensure that we take a 21st century approach and are always innovating. I'm excited about business recruitment. I really want to examine economic development and recruitment strategies to include targeted, proactive, innovative marketing. Like as I mentioned, updated incentive funding as well. I think that there are some opportunities for us to really identify companies and organizations that where Waco might be a good fit for them, a good home for them. And I want to go to them and say that, hey, we want you here in Waco. What does it look like for you to put a division in Waco? What does it look like for you to open up shop in Waco? So I really want to take a targeted, proactive, and strategic approach to getting businesses to open up shop in Waco. And I want to continue to make sure that we're supporting those who are here. For workforce, the great news is that we have all of these new jobs coming to Waco. I think it's going to be critical for us to all pull together as a community and implement a skills-based certification producing job training program that leads to financially secure careers and allows us to build a middle class from within our own community. And I'm excited to move forward to that end. Next, I think some other goals that we have as a community, we mentioned our police chief search. A shared goal for our community is that it be safe. Our crime rates have statistically been very low and declining year over year. I'm committed to working with our city staff to develop community practices, metrics, and desired outcomes to ensure that our neighborhoods are safe. I want to implement sound strategies that work towards this goal and build community trust and police officer trust with our institution as a city by examining holistically how this can be best achieved. The city council is committed to resources and in the 2021 budget to bring back our popular community policing initiative. And while Waco PD has done a tremendous job of forging strong community relationships, this program will provide a direct link for participating neighborhood associations to the police department and city services. And we look forward to the specifics of that program to begin to firm up with community input in the third quarter of 2021. We also got a great grant, the Texas Anti-Gang or TAG grant, which allows us to open up a center that'll be that became operational this year. It should foster a lot of collaboration in our county and state and federal agencies to address gangs, drugs, and other violent crimes. So I'm thankful for the cooperative measures that we're all taking to make our community safer. Neighborhoods is another priority of mine and our council. I'm excited to explore neighborhood empowerment opportunities. The city, every part of this city has a neighborhood association, but they usually come together when there's a big old crisis. And my vision is for us to find creative ways to activate these neighborhood associations so that every neighborhood association in Waco can be engaged, identify a set of goals, and partner with us and other stakeholders to accomplish their goals. One of my goals is to partner with our neighborhood and communities to develop a master plan for each part of our city and to provide proper toolkits to accomplish those goals, whether those tools be new TIF zones or PID zones or just playbooks for the neighborhoods to be activated. The tools might look different for the 25th Street Business Corridor or LaSalle Avenue than the Highway 84 corridor and the China Springs sector, but I think that we can work strategically to ensure that we're wearing our 10, 25, and 75-year goggles and operating with a strategic plan. Next, we're going to talk about equity. As you may recall from previous State of the City addresses, our council has a stated goal of closing gaps of disparities of outcomes among races. And I'm excited for our council and staff to continue to work to address this. There are disparities of outcomes in our community from health to housing, but the stat that personally hit me the hardest is that 51% of Black households make less than $25,000 per year compared to 13% of white households. In Waco, when we see problems, we take a smart, targeted, and collaborative approach to solve them. Complex problems require complex solutions, and I don't see any silver bullets lying around, but I do see an opportunity to move forward. This is a call to action. And it will take more than just the city to solve this problem, but we have an amazing opportunity to address that statistic that I just said. We have 1,250 jobs that pay well coming to this community, and if we apply good strategies and adopt good policy, we can ensure that that economic development announcement begins to close this gap. That is one example of what we can do to close the gaps. But jobs, along with new policies, relationship building, and our whole community working together is what it's going to take for us to move forward. And I look forward to working with our council to look critically at all city issues with this lens. Almost done. Hang with me, everybody. I also want to look at how we market and brand our city. I think that our city really needs to explore what our brand is. I think other cities around the country have done this well. I think that Waco has an identity and it has a brand, but I think that we need to come together, have community conversations around what that is, and then roll it out. I think that the first step is having that discussion. Then we decide the aesthetic and then build out a beautiful marketing plan that will be targeted for our own citizens, for business relocation, for family relocation, and for tourism. But I do think that we need to take on that strategic initiative. Last, customer service. Ultimately, the city is here to serve our constituents. And I want to work with our city staff to improve city services and make sure that our city is providing excellent customer service. I believe that we have an excellent staff who is working hard around the clock to meet our constituents' needs, but we are always exploring how we can improve. We want to have a culture of collaboration. This is a team sport. We have a great team at the city, but that's not all. We have great stakeholders. Our chambers of commerce, Startup Waco, the Business League are great for the business community, but throughout our city, we have great nonprofit organizations, educational institutions, philanthropy and foundations. It's going to take all of us to build the Waco. We want to take Waco to the places we want it to go. And I'm committed to working to foster that collaboration. I also want to be accessible. I think accessibility to city leadership is going to be critical for us to also achieve our goals. That starts now. If there's anything that you want to discuss, feel free to email me at dylan.meek@wacotx.gov. So I appreciate the opportunity to convene with you today. We moved very quickly through a lot of issues. For the sake of time, I wanted to go fast. I appreciate everyone's time and look forward to talking to you more in the days ahead. Thanks so much, Rick.
Wow, Mayor, thank you so much. That was a lot of great information and a good sprinkling of inspiration as well. So thank you. We look forward to your time as mayor. Thanks again to the judge, Judge Felton, for taking a little time out of his time off to share with us the great stuff going on at the county. I also want to thank our sponsors again. We couldn't do this without them. So big thanks to Merrill Lynch Wealth Management with Lauren Schwartz, Texas State Technical College as our two presenting sponsors, gold sponsors Baylor University and Texas Materials and Walker Partners, silver sponsors Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat, American Bank, Ascension Providence, Baylor Scott and White Hillcrest, Extraco Banks, John Irwin General Contractors, Johnson Hobbs Squires, Kelly Realtors, and McLennan Community College. Our bronze sponsors, Atmos Energy, Capstone Mechanical, Independent Bank, and then, of course, our great media sponsor, KWTX News 10. I would be remiss if at the end of this being the last of the State of series that the Greater Waco Chamber has put on, not to thank our Vice President of Public Policy, Jessica Addis, who's worked diligently, not only on this event, but all of them. And she wanted me to remind you that all of these, including today's, are available on the YouTube channel for the Chamber. So this is captured forever on there or until the internet goes away. Also want to thank Matt Metters, our incredible CEO and president of the Chamber, for the work he's done and just really his team. It's been a great year, been a challenging year. And I love the idea that in the midst of a challenge, the team has coalesced and done things bigger and better than they ever thought. And who would have thought this time last year that we would be doing all these meetings via Zoom and the technology infrastructure and practice that takes. So I'm very appreciative of their adaptability and just willingness to do new things. I'd also want to point out that this is my last official, function for as the chairman of the Chamber for this year. So I just want to say my thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to serve this community, to serve the Chamber and its membership. And I look forward to Jennifer Manning, our 2021 chairperson, as she takes over in her very capable and intelligent way. So with that being said, thanks for coming out. We appreciate, again, the city, the county, the judge and the mayor for their time today. You guys have a great day. Go get them.